Hi, you're through. This is the webinar for point of sale basics, and my name's Beth Hendry. I'm just going to go through the housekeeping first, so your speakers must be turned on to hear this webinar. My microphone is on, everybody else has automatically been muted. If you're having any technical difficulties, then there is a chat box, so if you just want to pop any questions in the chat box throughout regarding technical difficulties, or if you just have any questions at all, and we'll review all the questions at the end of the session. So our learning outcomes for today, we're going to be going through point of sale, and basically it's just a refresh on point of sale itself. We're going to talk you some little tips that have cropped up over the years that you may not be aware of. So we're going to talk you through those and just a few bits and bobs. So we're going to show you how to quickly add services and products. And that's using the F key functionality. We'll show you how to track petty cash, how to amend a completed sale, which is to do with changing an employee and a payment type. We'll also talk you through creating a quote, how to track your discounts, which is through the reporting section of shortcuts, how to process transactions, which are groups, and then we're also going to show you how to quickly find a client's bill. So there's a new thing that's popped into shortcuts recently, which is like a search option, so if you're searching for a particular client in point of sale. Fabulous. So, adding products and services quickly. So I don't know if many of you are aware, but we have some F key functions within shortcuts, and by clicking on these F keys, then what will happen is it brings up a box and gives you different options. So for example, if we click on F2, it then takes us straight through to the service selection screen. If we click on F3 in point of sale, then this will then give us a box to start typing in a product search. We have F4, which is where we can find a product by a PLU, which is a product lookup code. And we have F5, where we can find a product by a barcode. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to now jump into shortcuts itself, and then we will then have a look at these different options. Brilliant. So as I said, if we wanted to add an extra service onto a bill, then all we could do is if we just click F2, then it will then automatically take us through to the service selection page. So rather than clicking on the space within point of sale, it will just take us automatically through, and then we can just add on whatever we needed to add. So I'll just add a manicure on. And you'll see it will automatically add it onto the stylist or therapist that they were already booked in with. Cool. So F2 is just being able to just add a service rather than clicking on a basic space, then choosing service and the employee. As I said, we have F3. So F3 is a product search. So by clicking on F3, it will then bring us up with a search box, and all we would do is start typing in our product, and you'll see that it will then start trying to match. We can just choose the product that we want and press done, and that then adds that product onto it. Rather than searching through and trying to find that product from within the product screen, if you just start typing after you've pressed F3, it'll do a rough search. As you'll see, it also did, it started searching on like products as well. So if you started typing in all blonde, for example, it would start finding any products that had all in, for example. We have F4, so as I said, we've got F4, which is our finding by a PLU code. So a PLU code can be set against a product, and there is a column within the stock screen for you to set up your PLU codes, and then all you would do is just type in whatever the PLU code is, and then it would find the relative products at the side. And then finally, the last F key that we can use is F5. And this one is our barcode. So if for some reason your barcode scanner isn't working, or it's not scanning properly, then you can just start typing in a barcode, and then it will find the relative product as soon as you press done. Cool. So there are F functions. So as I said, they're quick and little quick tools that you can use, may hopefully make life a little bit easier and make you finding products and services slightly easier as well. So the other thing that we were going to talk about was our petty cash. So petty cash, so what we're going to do is look at tracking petty cash itself. So under no sale, under our no sale button, there we go. So under our no sale button, you'll see that we've got our no sale options, and in here we have a take petty cash. So I'm just going to run through this just to make sure that everybody's okay with the process, and then I'm going to look at how you actually manage any outstanding ones. So when we're taking petty cash for the first time, we click on take petty cash, and the system will ask us how much money we're taking. So if I was taking £2 out of the till, I would just type in £2. Done, and then I hit enter. Cool. There you go, that's done it. Sorry about that. Fab. So as soon as I've hit done, the till drawer would have opened and it allows me to take the £2 out of the till. So I'll go off to the shop and then I come back with my change. So I'm going to hit on no sale again at the bottom. And then there's a return petty cash. So return petty cash should only be there if somebody's taken petty cash and hasn't actually returned the change or said what they've spent the money on. So what we would suggest is always make sure at the end of the day that there is only one pig and not two, and that means that your petty cash will be all up to date. So I'm going to hit return petty cash. So this one's me, 18th, and done. And it's also showing me any outstanding ones on there as well. And I'm going to say that I bought some milk and it was £1.50. Brilliant. So that shows that I spent milk and it was £1.50, and then if I hit done, you'll see then at the bottom of the screen, it's telling me I've spent milk £1.50, and it's telling me at the bottom of the screen to return 50p in cash. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit end sale, and then it's going to tell me that I need to return 50p to the till and deposit any expense receipts. So it's a secure way of being able to take and return petty cash securely. And then done, and as soon as I hit done, the till drawer would open, and then the petty cash, we'd then put the receipt and any change back in the till. Even if you're not returning any change, then we do recommend that you return the petty cash to say what you've spent it on. So then on your reports you'll be able to see exactly what's outstanding, what you've spent, and any outstandings. So if you wanted to track any petty cashes that have been taken but haven't been returned, then under no sale, you'll see there's 2 pigs. So return petty cash. If there's 2 pigs, that means there are outstanding cash outs. You can also go into view cash movements, and this will give you a breakdown of what's been taken out. So what you'll see is at the top is the current sessions. So this is giving me a breakdown of what petty cashes have been taken out today. Based on the employee that's logged in, it will tell me who took it and then who returned the petty cash. And down the bottom, I've got outstanding cash outs. So I'm also able to see any outstanding cash outs, which are cash outs that are in the past. So if we had any outstanding ones today, they would be at the top, but if we've got any previous ones, then they are at the bottom. So we can see exactly who the employee was and try and find out exactly what they did with that £5 before we go in and try and start returning the petty cash. So it's just a quick way for you just to be able to see, right, okay, somebody's taking a lot of petty cash but not returning it, and maybe it's just a training that you just need to walk through it with them. Fabulous. So that's our tracking petty cash. We're also going to look at amending sales. So once a bill has gone through the system within Shortcuts, I'm just going to walk you through what we would do if something had been put through incorrectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into transactions, which is in the calculator in the top right hand corner of point of sale, and you'll see in here that it's giving us a list of all the bills that have gone through that day. So I've got a client, Sarah, that's been in and paid, and then it might be that I realise that actually I put through that she paid by cash, but she actually paid by card. So you'll see down the bottom there's a payment option. So if I click on Sarah and then click on payment, I can then change the payment type. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero off her cash. So I'm going to say she didn't pay by cash. Zero it and done. And then I need to say where the money is actually. So I'm going to pop it on card and say that she paid by credit debit card. £95, that's right. Done. And you'll see now that that's, if I press done, it's going to ask me, am I sure I want to update the transaction? Yes, I am. And you'll see now that it's now changed it from cash to credit debit card. So it's a great thing to do just in case there are any mistakes. You can always go back in and fix it, and then it means if you can fix it as you go along, then when you come to do your cash up at the end of the day, then hopefully it should all run smoothly. But you can use that as you're doing your cash up as well. If you do find there's a problem, you can come in and rectify it as well. The other thing that we can do within our transactions is we can also rectify any bills that have gone through against the wrong employee. So to do this, we just have to open up the bill itself. So against Sarah's name, there's a plus, and I'm just going to open it up. And you'll see that I've got Claire did the colour and Claire did the cut, but actually Claire didn't do the colour. So all I'm going to do is click on Claire's name. And you'll see then that down the bottom the employee button is now lit up. So if I click on employee, and I'm going to change it to Becky. And then it's saying, are you sure you want to update this transaction? Yep. And you'll see now that it's updated it. So now Becky did the colour and Claire did the cut. So it's a great thing to make sure that your information is correct. And obviously, if there are any problems, so making sure that the bills are against the right people, so that your commissions and the payments that you pay everybody are correct. You can also backtrack this. So if for whatever reason somebody says, well, actually I put some bills through and I put them against the wrong person's name and they were a couple of days ago, then you do have a date button in the transaction screen. And you can actually backtrack, so you can actually go back to, let's say, last Monday, and then you could work through any transactions that were in there. You could change payment types and you can change employees as well. So it just means that you can keep on top of shortcuts and rectify any mistakes, and you can also rectify them in the past, and it will just mean that when you're looking at your reports, then your report data will be accurate. Okay, cool. So another thing that we can do with point of sale is we can create quotes. So when I create a bill, I'll just grab one of my clients, you'll see down the bottom, so the end sale button is actually showing as a quote button at the moment. So until I process a payment, it's giving me the option to print a quote. So if somebody was coming in and wanted a quote on a colour and a cut with particular stylists, then I can use that quote button. And that quote button will then print out on your receipt. It prints out like a mini receipt with a quote and gives them rough pricing for each service. If you do not have the quote button enabled, then you can do this. It's just a tick box, and it's in setup and configuration. And then down the bottom we've got an enabled quotes tick box. You can also type in some quote terms and conditions. So this is a new thing that's been brought in, and the terms could be that you could put on there that this quote is only valid for 30 days from the date of printing, or it's only valid with within a month, or whatever your terms and conditions are when you're giving quotes to people. So there you go, there's a text box there that you can fill in, and as I said, that will just print it on the bottom of the quote. So if you want to use that service, just tick that box if it's not enabled already. So you'll know if it's enabled purely through the point of sale screen. When you come to take a bill and you've not selected a payment option, it should say quote. If quote isn't enabled, then it will just automatically say end sale, and you can just go and pop and turn it on. So it's a great thing to give clients, handy to staple inside of price lists and things, just so that they've got a quote if you've done, for example, useful for colour corrections, hair extensions, services where it's a price on quotation, so they can take it away with them. The other thing that we were going to look at was group transactions. So I know that this one is one that a lot of people phone up about and a lot of people forget about. So at the top of point of sale, we've got an option called group. So this is where 2 or more people are paying together. So it could be mother and daughter, it could be 2 friends. So all we need to do is we just need to make sure that their bills are set up already. And then all we do is click on the group box. So as soon as I click on group, it's then going to bring up a box of all the clients that are in point of sale. And all I'm going to do is just click on, so I'm going to link Sue and Fran together. So I link the 2 together. I can also create a group ID. So I can call it a particular name. So I could call it Smith Party. And this is just a free text. You just write it either with your screen, with your finger if you've got touch screen, or with the mouse. You just move the mouse across the screen as if you were writing. And then if I hit done, you'll see at the top it's telling me that it's Smith family and it's Sue Smith and Fran Jones. It also puts a little colour on them so we know exactly which group it is. Especially if you've got a couple of groups in there, it will give each group a different colour. So underneath the group itself, I've still got my individual bills and I can add on to those bills as well. So if Fran wanted to buy a product, then I can click on Fran and then I can then click on underneath and click on a product, or I could apply a discount that's just relative to Fran. The group itself is just for the final payment. So any discounts, any purchases all need to be done prior, or group them and then go in. They have to be done against the individual clients and not against the group itself. So once you're happy, then all you do is the group total is £125, and then all we would do then is just pay it off. So it just makes life easier if you're looking, especially for end of day when you're cashing up. You're cashing up and you're trying to find, if you've put them through separately, 2 clients look like they've paid but you've only got 1 credit card slip, then it's always worth grouping them together, and then you can see exactly you're looking for 1 transaction total of £125 rather than 2 individual prices. Fab. So another new feature, a feature that we've got on our point of sale that's recently come out is a search option. So if you've got a lot of clients in point of sale, what you can do is you can start typing. So if I start typing Becky, sorry, I've got my ask me later reminder set on at the moment. So as soon as I started typing Becky, it then brings up Becky's bill. So especially if you've got a lot of clients that are sat waiting and you don't want to hit checkout on the appointments, you can just come to point of sale, just start typing, and then it'll automatically find that client, brings their bill up, and then you can process the bill. So again, another way just to make taking the bill and processing a transaction a lot quicker. Fab. Okay, so I'm just going to pop out of and back to my presentation. So the other thing that we talked about was tracking discounts. So the best way to track discounts that have been given, is by a report called the Discount Reason Breakdown Report. So we can give our discounts at point of sale, but it's always useful to know exactly what discounts are being given. There are 2 reports. There is a Discount Reason Breakdown Report, and then there is a Discount Reason Breakdown by Employee, which is to say the employee whose bill it was. So on the Discount Reason Breakdown Report, which is the main one, it's under Tools, under Reports and into Transactions. And this report can be run for any time period. So I've created one to give you a breakdown of what it should look like. So here we've got our discount reason breakdown report, and it's got our discounts. So you can see that I've got a set and forget birthday email, and I've got 2 clients under that. I have a referral discount as well, and I've got 2 clients under that one as well. So what we're looking at is we're looking at how many clients over a period have had that discount. And also one thing you should be checking is just make sure that if you look at this over a year, that one client hasn't had the same discount, especially when it comes to birthdays, twice within that period. It shows you how many times they've received the discount itself and how many times we've given the discount overall, the discount that was given, and it gives you a breakdown whether it was against products, services or sundry, which is our gift certificates. So this was all discounts given against services. And then the amount we received is actually the amount that we took away. So it's that's how much the salon actually took in the till. So you can try and measure your popular discounts. So it's great for looking at what discounts are popular and what discounts really aren't. If you look at it over a year, for example, and one of your discounts hasn't shown up at all, then you know that that can't have been that effective, especially if you're looking at promotions and offers that you've been given. It's good to look at the amount given versus the amount received. So we usually say that discounts should never be more than 1/3 of the value received, just to make sure that you're actually maintaining enough income to sustain that service. So as I said, we would say it should never be more than 1/3. Yet you can look at number of discounts given over a period as well. So and also which discounts were given, and then also redo discounts. So if you do happen to do any redos or complementaries, then they can be identified, and especially if you look at the other one, which is the employee, then you can also identify if there's a lot of redos against one employee, then it can identify training issues or that may need addressing, i.e. further colour training, etc. Fabulous. So that was quite a quick run through. So that takes us to our summary. So as I said, you should now be able to add those products and services quickly with those F keys. So if you remember that our F2 was adding a service, our F3 was a product search by name, and F4 was a product by a product lookup code, and F5 was finding a product by a barcode. You should be able to take and return petty cash and also track any outstanding petty caches, amend sales after completion, create quotes and also customize them with your own terms and conditions, track discounts, group together transactions, so people who are paying together, and search for clients quickly in point of sale. So now I'm going to ask if anybody's got any questions. So if you do have any questions, feel free to type them away in the bottom box and I'll have a look. I've got a couple of questions, so just bear with me a second. Okay, so somebody went offline, so I'm just going to quickly show editing the transactions again. So just go back into shortcuts. So editing a transaction, if you go into point of sale and into the transaction screen, and then you click on the client that you want to change, click on the payment type, and then you would zero off the payment type that you didn't want. And then you would then type in the payment type that you did want. And then done. And then it says, do you sure you want to update? Yep. And then you'll see that it tells you the cash. The same for an employee. So you just have to click on the plus next to the client itself. And then you click on the employee that's incorrect and go to employee down the bottom and then you would just choose who the correct employee was and then update. And if it was incorrect for both services, then you would need to do it for both. So you need to do each one individually. Cool. Okay. Okay, so somebody's asked about editing a sale after it's been processed, i.e. price-wise. Once a transaction has gone through with that price, even if you change the employee, it will stay at the price because that was the price that you took. So what we would have to do, you'd need to make sure that you did it on the same day. You would need to delete that transaction and then re-enter that transaction back in against the correct price so that you're till balanced. So in your transactions, you'd need to find the transaction that was incorrect, delete it, and then go back into point of sale and bring that bill through again. Okay, so somebody missed where I got the area to put the group name in. So when you click group, you'll see at the bottom, as soon as you've grouped together the people that you want to be together, then at the bottom you've got a group ID box, and by clicking on that it brings up a white text box. There is a little bit of a delay in this, bear with me. There we go. And then all you would do is you just start typing in. I'll cancel that off. Brilliant. Do quotes stay on file? Can you search for quotes after? No, a quote is purely just, you would just ring it through. So if it wasn't a client, sometimes you do it against a walk-in, but they don't stay on file. It's like a temporary bill, if you like, and then you just print quotes. So they would need to bring that quote with them. So maybe that should go in the terms and conditions, is that they need to bring that quote along with them so that you can, to qualify to get that price. To find a client's future appointment, how do I find it? Okay. So if you are searching for a client's future appointment, this can be done through clients. Now it does print it on the receipt, so it will print up to the next 3 or 4 on the receipt itself. But you can also go to a client, and if you right click on a client's name and go to schedule, it will then bring you a list of any future appointments. How do you enter a float for petty cash? We don't tend to enter a float apart from when you're cashing up. So what we tend to do is we incorporate a float into the cash up process. So when you're running the end of day wizard, there'll be a float option, and that float. Apart from that, what Shortcuts will do is it takes any petty cash that go through, it actually takes them out of your takings. So when you cash up, it knows how much money has been taken out, so it will cash up correctly. Just having a quick look to see if I've got any others. So how do I find this recording? So anybody that needs to watch this recording again, they're all loaded onto our website. So let me just get to my next page. Okay, so to register for more webinars, so we have got another one coming up in September, and that's holiday marketing and promotions. That can be found at our website. And also, if you want to watch any of the recordings, so that's any of the previous ones that we've run, so there's about a year's worth there, you can visit our website, and it's www.shortcuts.co.uk/webinars, or if you go to the homepage, then there is a webinars button as well. So you'll see any of our previous webinars, and then there's always a sign up page for our incoming webinars as well. Cool. Okay. Fab. Well, I will send you a quick email round anyway, just with the links and everything on. And if anybody has any further questions, then by all means, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me. So that's my contact details. So that's the office phone number. So by all means, just leave a message and I'll get back to you. Or ping me an email and I'll respond as soon as I can. So I said I'll send you a quick summary email afterwards, and I'll also send a breakdown of the questions that were asked and a quick answer session on how to find them. As I said, if you do have any further questions, then please by all means just get in touch, and hopefully I'll speak to you on our next webinar. Thank you very much.